What's going on, everybody? It's Aurora coming at you with a brand new video. And Konami, I love free content just as much as any other content creator, but this is kind of exhausting at this point. We've hit 3 different videos of support waves or new archetypes in the last 24 hours. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but it's just wow. But today, we're going to be doing something that's actually not something we've done on the channel before, and that is a triple feature video. And yeah, I could technically make like 2 videos out of this and kind of milk it for all it's worth. It's only 2, by the way, because like they listed 5 cards, 2 for 2 different archetypes and 1 for 1, which is weird. But those would just be like a bunch of little 5-minute videos split up, and that'd be exhausting to edit and to actually make thumbnails for and everything. So I feel like it'd be more fun to just pull Aurora and do a triple feature. So basically, the new archetypes coming in Amazing Defenders in just a month actually to the TCG have gotten new support in Cyberstorm Access, and I'm really excited to see it because I think every single one of these archetypes has potential to be an actually good deck. Like, it's no grand creators in terms of power level, it's probably more on par with Tactical Masters when we look at it from grand scale, but I think that all of these archetypes are severely underestimated, and I think in terms of the power hierarchy, it's probably Rescue Ace, Purrely's like kind of like right there, and then Mikanko's trailing a little bit behind, but I feel like as someone who's piloted a 60-card Kaiju Mikanko deck, I feel like it's definitely a force to be reckoned with as well, but it's just a bit slower than the other 2. But I think with the right support and in the right hands, these decks could be devastating, so I'm really excited to see what Konami has given us. So there's 2 cards for Mikanko, 2 cards for Purrely, and 1 card for Rescue Ace. I feel like it's probably a mistake. I just think they didn't reveal the extra card for Rescue Ace. It'd make no sense to give each of those 2, and then the last one 1. Like, that's just weird. But let's go ahead and waste no more time. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Pets, firefighters, and ceremonial dancers all make their return. So starting off, we have, oh, it looks like the name changed, Purrely. Okay, I guess I'll call him Purrely. And also, this is awesome, actually, a new main deck monster is something I've really been advocating for Purrely, because I think that just having the regular one isn't enough, because you're just going to be breaking if you don't have access to it, or at least not going to be seeing as consistent success without it. Not to mention, I've ended up running out of a lot of resources when I was recording my Purrely matches and doing some fun games, because you just burn out really quickly from your main deck resources. So, this is Purrely Lily. It is a level 1 Dark Fairy. I think the other one was a Light, so this probably matches up with the Noir mixed with the, what was the other one? Happiness? But it has 100 attack and defense, says you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. On summon, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand except a quick play spell, and you can target a Purrely quick play spell in your grave, special and exceeds that mentions it from your extra deck by using this card as material, and if you do, attach that target to the summon monster as additional material, and this is treated as an exceed summon. I mean, this kind of just looks like it's better than the original Purrely. Like, on summon, you can add any Purrely card from deck to hand. Okay, actually no, except the quick play spell. Okay, never mind. I misread that. Yeah, so you can't add a quick play spell, so it's not just a strictly better Purrely, because Purrely excavates the top 3 of your deck and adds a spell or trap, and then places the rest on the bottom. But this can add anything that isn't a quick play spell, so you can add either the original Purrely, you can add Purrely My Friend, you can add straight Purrely Street, or Purrely Leap. All of which actually are incredible cards. Maybe not so much Purrely Leap, it's kind of like a 1 or 2 of, but the other cards, especially Purrely My Friend, are really good. And then being able to not only recur your resources from grave, but also just help in a grind game like this is really solid. I think this is a great addition to the deck. I'm very excited to see what the other card does. Next up, we have Fury, the Orb Mikanko, looks like the name stayed here, is a level 3 Wind Psychic. I mean, hey, that's an E-Telly target right there. It might actually work in Virtual World. It has 0 attack and defense, and you can only use its 3rd effect once per turn. If this card is not equipped with an equip card, you take no battle damage from battles involving it, and if it is, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any damage from the battles instead. Your opponent cannot target Mikanko cards you control with card effects while you control an equip card, and if this card becomes equipped with an equip card, you can add a Mikanko trap from your deck to your hand. I mean, this seems fine. Obviously, the first effect is nothing really new for Mikanko. It's kind of like their entire game plan is like the Recital Starling Crash effect, except your opponent's the only one taking it from this. Then the targeting protection for your Mikanko cards is pretty cool as well, just for controlling an equip card, which means, by the way, keep in mind over half the Mikanko cards can actually equip to your opponent's monsters and usually steal them, which is also really good. And then, to be fair, the Mikanko traps aren't really that great. I mean, one of them is probably going to be a lot better because of this, because it's actually searchable then. But basically, it's the one that says, if you control a Mikanko, target a card or monster on the field and equip it with an appropriate equip card. And again, a lot of them actually steal your opponent's monsters. I think one negates the effects as well. So I don't know, I'd have to look back at them again. But overall, another Mikanko monster is really good considering there was only 2, and I like the addition of green into the mix instead of just the red and the blue. Next up, we have Purrely Sleepy Memory. Ooh, a new quick play. So it is a quick play, of course, that says apply this effect, then you can discard a card, and if you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, and once applied, the next battle or effect damage you take this turn becomes 0. A Purrely monster Purrely Exceeds monster that has this card as material gains this effect, and once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can draw 1 card. I mean, not bad, especially now that we have the Purrely Lily. Purrely Lily is going to be a huge game changer for all of the quick plays, because all of them, if you didn't know, discards a card to special a Purrely from your deck if you want to. So again, that's going to be really good for your grind game, and also I love this artwork, by the way. All the Purrely artwork is just adorable, but also just free draw power in an already resource-based deck is going to be really good for its grind game, and it's going to make it a lot more solid as of a control deck. Not to mention, just having more targets for your original Purrely and all your other cards that search them out is going to be really good, especially because you can't just rely on, what is it? What was the other one? It was, the really good one, Delicious Memory. Yeah, that's like the best one because it summons Plump. But yeah, another really solid card for the Purrely archetype. So next up, we have a new equip spell from Mikanko called Dance of the Mikanko Fascinating Bird. It is an equip spell, of course, that says you can only use the second and third effect of its name once per turn. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. If your Mikanko monster's battles, at the end of the damage step, you can target 1 card on the field and return it to the hand. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Mikanko monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, equip it with this card, also banish that monster when it leaves the field. I think this is a very good card, so even ignoring the really solid card effect destruction protection that it has here, being able to bounce any card on the field to the hand just by attacking with your Mikanko, or actually getting it attacked as well, which, keep in mind, you're either taking no damage or your opponent is taking all of the damage instead. That's their entire game plan, is just reflecting the damage back at the opponent. That's some really solid removal compared to their other ones. I think one of them, is it the blue one? Okay, no, the blue one steals. I know one of their equip spells bounces something. Okay, yeah, so Purifying Dance of the Mikanko. If a monster is special to your opponent's field, you can target one monster you control and one of your opponent's monsters and return them to the hand. And then another one, Arabesque of the Mikanko, the newer one from the set. It also returns monsters to the hand. So this is some really good removal because it returns any card, and it's not just a specific monster it's equipped to or any monster on the field. But I really think that graveyard effect is what's really good about this card, because keep in mind, all it does is banish the monster that it's equipped to when it leaves the field. It does not banish itself, meaning that every single turn, you can revive a Mikanko from your grave, including the ritual monster, equip it with this, which not only will give you a free bounce by swinging, or could help you go for a game by swinging, but you're just going to be able to continuously do this every single turn, regardless of your monsters getting banished, because you don't really care about them getting banished. So I think this is a really strong card overall, even though they are kind of swarmed with a bunch of equip spells that kind of do nothing without monsters. Finally, we have Reinforce, which is the only card revealed for the Rescue Ace archetype here. Again, I feel like we're probably missing maybe a spell or something. I do not think that they would only have a single trap for Rescue Ace, despite giving the other archetypes 2 cards. We'll probably just see that a little bit later on. I probably won't be able to cover it, but it is a normal trap that says, of course, it is always treated as a Rescue Ace card so that you can set it directly from your deck with your big monster. You can only use the second effect of its name once per turn. You can target a Rescue Ace monster you control. Until the end of this turn, it gains 1500 attack and defense. It is unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. Also, the next time it would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. And you can banish it from your grave to target a Rescue Ace spell in your grave and set it to your field. This seems like a fine card overall. I feel like the graveyard effect is a lot stronger than the actual effect. I mean, don't get me wrong, turning your monster into a pseudo towers and making it really beefy, especially when you already have like a 3500 attack monster, I think it is. Okay, no, just 3000, I'm tripping. But basically being able to turn your monster into a 4500 attack or a little bit less bungus is really nice. And then the battle protection would probably help here and there, but I think mainly the towers effect is a lot stronger. But I think banishing it from grave to recur your Rescue Ace spells in your grave, especially the ones that are a pseudo a DD Crow, as well as being able to summon from your deck, are really strong. So this might be a good one of, maybe 2 of at a stretch, but probably more so a 1 of in the deck. But that is 8 for these new cards from Amazing Defenders for all 3 archetypes. So what do I think about these? I think these are very solid options for the deck. I think Purrely actually got the best end of the stick here, being able to not only have another name for their grind game, which was one of their only weaknesses in my opinion, but also one that's just so strong as Purrely Lily. I think that's going to be really huge for the deck, as well as being able to control its control aspect a bit more, much like Sky Striker, which is actually a deck that people are comparing it to due to the severe amount of spells. Being able to just draw cards for free during the opponent's standby is really nice. You don't even have to detach a material or anything to do it, so it pairs really well with Plump. Plus, it also prevents you from dying, which is really good, especially when compared to Pretty Memory, which just gives both players life points. I think Mikanko also got some really good options here. Similar to Purrely, it actually had some aspects wrong with the amount of monsters that it had, so another monster in the main is really nice, as well as having such a strong recursive equip spell. Both these decks just got such a good grind game here. I feel like Rescue Ace probably got the worst of it because this card's just okay. Again, I feel like it's mostly a one of, if anything. If it was a spell, maybe, but because it's a trap, yeah, you do have Hydrant, which allows you to activate it immediately as it's set, but because the Turbulence isn't a quick effect to set from the deck, you're really going to only be able to get use from that on your turn, so it's just okay overall. Hopefully we do get another quick play spell for the deck, because I feel a bit bad that it only got one card as opposed to both of these archetypes getting two amazing cards. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know your sound in the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. I know it was a bit different because it was a triple feature, but I feel like it was really nice, especially because I didn't have to go, 5-minute video, 5-minute video, 2-minute video, something like that, because I get really tired of that. I don't get mid-rolls from it, and also I know you guys probably don't really care much about like real 5-minute videos about nothing cards. So I hope you did enjoy the triple feature. If you did, please sure to leave a like, as it helps put this video and the channel into YouTube recommended. And if you like this content and you want to see more like it, like the rest of my review series, then perhaps consider subscribing, because we're on our way to 2,500 subscribers by the end of 2022, which is approaching very fast. But once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.